everybody, my name is Hope and welcome back to my channel. I like musicals, they're every part of my life, and today we're going to be talking about the Olivier Awards. Now, the Olivier Awards are essentially the British version of the Tonys, if you didn't know, and I actually watched the whole ceremony and I have a lot of thoughts about it, so I thought I would talk about it today. But just before we get into this video, number one, as you can tell, this looks different. It is the same setup. I'm just sat on my bed. But I'm filming on my iPhone instead of on my iPad. I'd really like to know your opinions. Is it better? Is it worse? I can't really tell. But also remember that you can follow me on all my social medias. You can find me at XWilsonX on Instagram, HopeWilson45 on TikTok, and HopeWilson with 2 N's and underscore on Twitter. I'm really terrible at Twitter, but Twitter's really terrible, so what can you do? Remember that you can also like and subscribe down below if you like it. I'm on the way to 1,000 subscribers, so it'd be really helpful if you could help me out in that department. But without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is Cabaret. Now, Cabaret was kind of the big winner of the night, even though it didn't win everything it was nominated for. But I think the musical, and you can feel free to disagree with me, the musical feels Olivier baited. And it's really hard to explain what I mean by that, but essentially, when I watched the performance that they did for the Olivier Awards, it was very obvious that they were going to win to me. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. Obviously, it proves that it's a good show, but just the way it was done, I think it was so obvious that it was gonna win, because essentially it's that thing where it's like, oh, trying something different, trying something new. But on the other side of that, it very much made me feel, and it was quite noticeable, that all of those productions that kind of stayed traditional and loyal to the source material, which sometimes I think is better, just didn't get the credit that they deserved, which is kind of disappointing. But you know, what can you do? It was very much just like these musicals that push the boundary and that are a little bit edgy and a little bit different kind of won out. But then again, Spring Awakening didn't win Best Rival, but at the same time Cabaret did. So it's kind of hard to judge in that regard. And they ended up winning Best Actor, Best Actress, Best Revival, Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Sound Design, and Best Director. So it was a big winner and it was crazy that it won all those awards. I think it would have been nice to see some other productions win, but you know, I'm not the Olivier board, so I can't really say a whole lot. Also, with the Cabaret performance that they did for the Olivier Awards, I wasn't the biggest of fans. Apparently it's like more accurate to like the source material and how it should be done in comparison to the Liza Minnelli film. And to be fair, I don't know a whole lot about Cabaret. I know quite a few of the songs, but the story and the reality of it, I'm not too familiar with. I know it's set in like Germany during like the Nazi times, but apart from that, it's kind of loose. But that kind of interpretation just wasn't really for me, but I could see why it could be for a lot of other people. I really appreciated that it was doing something different, although I don't know if that song was necessarily the right choice for the Tony Awards. But you know, the musical won and it had a stacked cast. I think there was so much talent in cast and creative, and I'm not going to take it away from that. It obviously won for a reason. It wasn't for me, but I think that is okay. Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is Life of Pi. Arguably the thing I was the most surprised about how much I liked it. Their performance at the Oliviers was by far my favourite out of any other thing that performed, and I also thought the puppetry was just gorgeous. They won for Best Actor, and as soon as they stepped on stage, it was so obvious as to why. I think they somehow managed to form a 12-year-old boy as a grown adult, and it was just crazy to me that they were so good at doing that. And that's not a complaint, by the way, that's like how it's meant to be. The 7 actors who also played the tiger won for Best Supporting Actor, and oh my god, that tiger puppetry was insane, and I think it was totally deserved. I think the talent was completely unmatched, and the way that they moved that tiger was crazy. I thought it was so good. And as well as those 2 awards, they also won for set design, lighting design, and best light, gladly. I didn't think I was gonna like it. I'd seen like adverts for it and stuff, and I was like, I don't care. And I watched the performance and my opinion totally changed. I thought it looked so good. The next thing I want to talk about is Back to the Future the musical. It won Best New Musical at the Tonys, which is like the big award, essentially the one that people kind of get hyped about. People really didn't seem hyped about it this year. It seemed really rushed, and I was honestly just kind of surprised about the whole ordeal that was Best New Musical. Their performance wasn't massively memorable, and I have only seen the film once, but I think the reason why they picked that was because it's like a really big deal in the film. It's like in the past and he's playing on the guitar and it's like prom or something. That is like what happens in the scene. and they're singing a song. It was very upbeat and fun though, which I did kind of like. But to be fair, I think I would have rather seen something a bit more quirky. It was the same with Cabaret as well. I just think like the quirk of both of the musicals is what makes it so great, and because that's what makes the two unique, I think I would have liked to have seen something that was more quirky. Like Back to the Future, it's about a person going back to the future. The title is quirky in itself, like really play on that. I think that would have been a better representation of what. It was still good though, I still liked it. I also think it was a bit surprising because it was really hard to call. Pretty much all the musical based categories awards had gone to Cabaret, and Cabaret can't win Best New Musical because it's a revival. So it was kind of anybody's game. Costume design went to Moulin Rouge. Best New Orchestrations went to Get Up, Stand Up, the Bob Marley musical. And Best Choreography went to Anything Goes, as it should. So I think everyone was surprised when Back to the Future won because it was the only award that it won the entire night, and it was the big one. But you know, just because they didn't win other things doesn't mean that they didn't deserve that award, you know? Aside from Life of Pi, my other favourite performance was probably Moulin Rouge, which is very surprising for me. It's a musical that I'm very much impartial to. I don't have like overbearing thoughts on whether I love it or hate it. It's just very fine for me. But I was very pleasantly surprised. I also noticed their size and colour inclusivity, love that. And I actually noticed a lot more BIPOC people, POC people this year. Obviously, I would like to see more. Anyway, Clive Carter, who was playing Harold something or other, begins with a Z. I don't know Moulin Rouge very well. I've seen the film, and that's about as far as it goes. I actually saw him when he was in Come From Away at the Phoenix Theatre in the West End. It's the only West End show I've seen. And he was really good in that. Everyone was really good in that. I always recommend Come From Away as a show to go and see because it's great. But I was glad to see it because I felt like this production was very much slept on because everyone was dreaming of Aaron Tveit in the US production and soon be Derek Klena. So it was nice to just see like something fun and edgy and like just boppy, you know? I wanted a bit more bop, and Moulin Rouge served on that front, so I really like that. But now it's time to talk about probably my favourite thing of the evening. So what was my favourite part of the entire night? It was the Stephen Sondheim tribute. If you've been watching me for a while, you'll know Stephen Sondheim is one of my favourite people ever. I adore him and his music and everything that he did for musical theatre. I love him. But oh my god, this tribute, it was two beautiful things just wrapped in a bow and wrapped into one. It was great. Because not only was it a wonderful tribute to Stephen Sondheim, it was absolutely beautiful, gorgeous, loved it. It was also a tribute to the swings, understudies, alternates, standbys, all of those people on the West End who usually go unnoticed by the general audience, and I loved that. I feel like they still go unnoticed. I feel like we're getting better at it, but it's something that people don't really appreciate, and people should. I'm still like praying that one day we get a Best Ensemble award. It's like on my bucket list, even though I have no control over that whatsoever. We deserve one. And I think it was just a great way to not only pay attention to them, but to the people that we lost in 2021 and 2022. And just in general, it was really, really nice. And I was gonna say something else, but I've forgotten what it was. So yeah. Onto the outro. I think overall the Olivier Awards was definitely a mixed bag. I feel like everything was hard to call, and this year there definitely wasn't like standout winners, even though Cabaret and Life of Pi won the majority of the awards. But I felt, especially in like the new musicals, I literally didn't know really anything about them, and typically I do. I'm pretty on that front, but really was not. But I was pleasantly surprised, and I think that while I would have probably done things differently, I am not the Oliviers winning board, so I can't really blame them. And even though I think that the Oliviers just aren't as big a deal as like any other award show, like the Tonys are obviously bigger, and like even the Grammys and the Brits, they're all like regarded better for some reason than the Oliviers. But nonetheless, I enjoyed it. I was happy. I'd recommend you go and listen to some of these musicals because I think they really deserve it, honestly. And you know, why not not get into some new musicals that have actually won awards. Not saying that any new musical that doesn't win an award isn't good, but you catch my drift. You get what I'm saying. And before I say anything mildly offensive, I'm just gonna close out this video. So remember that you can like this video if you liked it. If you want to see more of me, remember you can subscribe. I know a lot of people hate me, but maybe you don't. Maybe you can subscribe. Maybe you can be my friend, because I have no friends. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. Keep enjoying musicals as much as me, and I will see you in the next one.